All right. Today, we're skipping right to it. No fancy intro. I've got 2 hours to finish this bike before I'm supposed to go ride it. So let's get to work. Here we are with the shifters. These are Suntour Thummies. They are the, I don't remember which model, but these are some of my favorite ones. They ratchet wonderfully. Listen to that. How nice is that? Pulled these off of the other bike that I originally thought I was going to build and no longer am. So let's get these broken down, cleaned, and polished to match everything else, and then get them on the bike. Got myself a couple of clean rags. Tops of them just pull off, unscrew with the little thumb screw. This whole piece comes off, and they feel really good currently. I don't really want to pull apart this mechanism, but I do just want to wipe everything down. The bottom comes apart like this, and everything falls out. So I'm just going to be using some simple green. And getting most of the grime off. All right, so I've got the lower bit cleaned and the upper bit. The main parts that I want to polish are the actual body of this and the lever face. Just like last time, Mother's mag and aluminum polish is what I'm using. Stuff is very effective, I found out. Got a clean de-linted rag. Dab some on there. And then you just start rubbing. There we go. Rub the rest of the polish off, and that's nice and shiny. You just repeat that process as long as you want. I'm going for a luster, not quite a polished finish. You can see the difference there. Right there, look at that difference. Beautiful. So I'm just going to repeat this process on this one and my other lever. All right, finished products right here. Very nice and shiny, matches all the other shiny bits. Very excited. More chrome, more chrome, more chrome. Let's put these on the bike. Now, shout out to New Vintage Bikes because I've got matching grips that match the saddle. How badass is that? Let's see, I want them running this way. So I'm going to slide these guys on, and then I can determine where I want my shifter to be based on my hand positioning. I think I want the bolts to be facing me. Both of them are wrapped this way, so I think that should be right. So I'm gonna I told him that I'd try these vegan leather grips out because they're more waterproof than regular leather grips. So I figured I should give them a proper shake, let them know what I think. And now we have to determine where I want the shifters to go. So this should be the This is the this is the this is the right one. I think I want this to be as close that way as possible, I think. Do I want them here? Do I want them here? I probably want them here. So it's nice because I don't need to slide the grips on and off. I can just set these shifters up. However I want. I think I want the cables to come out flush here. So I'm going to run them in that position. So let's check where that sits. That's getting harder. Easier gears. I don't like how much it runs into the grip, so I think I'm going to run them on this side. Now that might be a little bit too far away. So let's move the brakes in and shifters in. Much better. I think that's a better position for them. And that's going to be position all the way in, all the way, hardest, easiest gear. Just reach over. Yeah. So let me toss on the other one, move this brake in, and we'll get rolling. Nice. We had a small interruption, but whoo! Listen to that. It's wonderful. So let's route some cables. So this cabling process is going to be very similar to the brakes that we did last time, except it's shift housing. I have the matching Vela Orange braided shift housing. Yeah, stuff is rad. Compressionless, makes everything feel better. We basically follow the exact same principle we did last time. Plug it in, move the bars. If you can feel it stretching, it's too short. And I try to match up the flushness on the front with the other cables that are already routed. So this looks like it needs to be cut right here. Do another test fit. That's perfect. Toss another ferrule on. That's good to go. Let's get the front one routed as well. Because it's the exact same length, you could just measure these up together so you get the exact same length. So I guess that's what I'll do. Someone just tried to get into the shop. I'm terribly sorry, we are closed today. All right, 2 cables of almost perfectly equal. So I'm gonna have to trim one of those, I think. I like to take my shift cable and run it as soon as I cut my first bit of housing, so that it holds the housing on there. Because where'd this piece of housing go? I don't know. Did it fly across the shop? Probably. How did I lose my housing? Oh, landed on the bench. So like I just said, it keeps it from flying away from you. And I'd like to think that's beneficial. And same thing with the front derailleur, shifter. You know what I mean. And this bike has no housing to the rear, or no housing to the front derailleur. So I don't need to worry about cutting that. Okay, we could focus on this segment of housing. This derailleur can move a little bit, so I want to run a little bit of extra loop here. Remember, you can always cut more off, but if you need to add just a little bit, you can't. You got to cut a whole new piece. Ferrule's on. I like that loop. Thread this through. Go ahead and lock in. This housing looks like it actually goes over here, which is cool. Lock that down. That's a 6. Jeez, what were they thinking? Gonna do the same on the front here. Come straight up like that. I tend to wrap my cable back so it stays out of the way of your cranks. There we go. Back down and out of the way. You can even tuck this one back through here if you want. Actually, no, that would affect the shifting. So I already get the sense that I didn't cut the chain long enough. But it does hit all the gears, which is awesome. Shift the front one straight to cross chaining. Wonderful. Even cross chained, we could definitely lose a link. So let's drop some chain links off of this guy. I know there are plenty of people that use the the biggest gear and then plus 2 links or whatever. I use the guess and check method. Lots of people believe that, these quick links are not reusable. I would beg to differ. So we're going to go to here on this. Now, technically they say quick links are not reusable, like the actual companies themselves. I don't know if I fully agree with that. I've never had a problem. So I think my main issue is going to be that this derailleur has no B tension, and it's pretty worn out, let's be honest. And so I might just be having some lack of chain tension, a lot of chain slappage. All right, so that wants to skip off that top gear. Do a little bit of backing off of the limit screw, just a hair. So I'm going to be honest, this is less than ideal. Obviously the chain has not worn in yet. It's freshly waxed. Normally takes a little bit to get it perfect, but the tension that this derailleur holds is not very high. Someone that is smarter than me will know how to retension this spring. Ben, reach out if you're watching this. I'm sure you know. But I'm assuming I'm probably going to have to swap to using that XTR derailleur. But I said I was going to go ride this bike, and it's how I wanted to build it. So I'm going to do that. So let's cut these cables, because I can always throw some new cables in. Put some nice cable ends on there. And then we can stare at the masterpiece. Gold, because obviously. And gold to match the other gold. Uh-oh, I frayed my cable. It's fine, you can just wrap it back on. I know that zip tie trick was going around. You can also just do it with your fingers. Although the zip tie would keep you from getting, pierced by it. I've got 2 more things to put on here. I've got 1 more thing to put on here. How many more things do I have? I think it's just 1 more. And then we can go stare at it. So locally, we are lucky enough to have wide foot. I like to carry a Nalgene pretty much at all times. So I'm going to put one of his Nalgene leader cages. It's called a leader cage. And I've got some gold bolts from Wolf Tooth to match the rest. It is a little annoying because they're like less gold than the rest of the gold, but whatever. And I do recommend putting just a little dab of grease on your bolts so they don't get seized, because these are aluminum. Especially important if you're using aluminum bolts. Now let's see if my legs will hit that. My water bottle that I normally carry fits very well in this. Oh, and look at the clearance. It's perfect. No touching. It's wonderful. Cool. So that should work well. I almost forgot to put some bar end plugs in. These are important. These are some ones that we just had kicking around. I'm not sure which company they're from. I think there's some like BMX bar ends. But they're the exact same diameter as the grips that I'm running. I will probably eventually get some silver or gold ones to match everything else on the bike, because obviously but for now these will do just fine. Should we go stare at it? I think so. So that's it. This is the bike as it stands, sits, rolls. It feels pretty comfortable as right now. I know that I'm going to change some small things. I think the reach is currently too far for me. So I think I'm going to swap to the regular granola bars. And they're also a little bit easier to hold a bag on the front of, because I do plan on taking this on at least a couple of tours. But yeah, the bike is awesome. I need to give a huge shout out to Velvet Orange for making this possible. This bike would have never existed in its current form if it wasn't for them. If you enjoyed these parts, you're interested in anything, go over to velvetorange.com. It'll be in the description. Go support them. I really try to encourage to support the people that support me and allow me to make this happen. New Vintage Bicycle on Instagram makes both those grips and this saddle. Beautiful works of art, match the tires perfectly. Shout out Ultra Dynamico. All of that will be in the description. If you liked this series, let me know. Let me know what I could be doing better, what I could do worse. You know, whatever your feeling is. Let me know what you think of the bike. Please like, comment, subscribe, do all those things. It is helpful. I now understand that. If you got any questions, let me know. Until next time, this is the bike. This is the Schwinn Impact. It's pretty cool. See you guys next week.